Breathe. Just for a moment. Let that single command anchor you to this present reality. Because the reality you have known is fracturing, making way for a new one. Inhale the very substance of an atmosphere that is now charged, humming with the frequency of a celestial event that has your name at its core. Exhale the years of dust, the taste of ashes from dreams that burned to the ground, the phantom pains of betrayals that you thought had permanently marked your soul. You are standing on the event horizon of a divine reversal, a cosmic reordering of events, and you are the epicenter. For so long, your identity has been forged in the crucible of affliction. You were the one defined by the fight, by the wilderness, by the deafening silence that answered your most desperate cries. You became accustomed to being the one misunderstood, the one whose passion was labeled as instability, whose vision was dismissed as delusion. You learned to navigate the treacherous currents of rooms where whispers were your constant companions, and you became intimately familiar with the profound ache of being an outsider, an alien among your own kind. The very calling on your life made you a target. The light within you, a light you sometimes struggled to see yourself, was an irritant to the forces of darkness. It drew the attention of every shadow, every principality that thrives in mediocrity and despises the dawn. You were sifted like wheat, tested in fires you were certain would consume you, and stretched to what you believed was your breaking point, only to be stretched further still. In that prolonged season of isolation, you learned to find sustenance where there was no food, to drink from wells that others could not see, to feast on promises that seemed to defy every tangible piece of evidence in your world. You prayed prayers that felt like they hit a ceiling of brass. You cried tears that no one saw. And you held onto a thread of faith so thin it was invisible to everyone but you and God. And in that desolate place, something eternal was forged within you. You were stripped of pride, of self-reliance, of the desperate need for human applause. Your identity became so intertwined with the one who called you that you no longer knew where you ended and he began. You learned to hear his voice, not in the earthquake or the fire, but in the still, small whisper that became your only anchor in a raging, relentless sea. You have been in a divine holding pattern, and you have wondered, in your most honest moments, if you had been forgotten. You've watched others, seemingly less dedicated, less qualified, pass you by, receiving the promotions, the platforms, the relationships, the breakthroughs, while you remained hidden, seemingly barren, and perpetually overlooked. The accuser whispered that you missed your chance, that your mistakes were a permanent disqualification, that your past was a stain that could never be washed away. The world looked at your life, at your circumstances, and it rendered a judgment of failure. They called you foolish for your unwavering belief, for your refusal to bow to the systems of this world, for your stubborn insistence on a reality that was not yet manifest. Now, I need you to let this next truth permeate every fiber of your being. Let it recalibrate your spirit and realign your hope. The season of silent endurance is over. The period of hidden preparation has come to a thunderous conclusion. The cosmic verdict has been rendered from the highest court in the universe. God just stood up for you. This was not a subtle shift. This was not a quiet suggestion. This was a declarative, definitive, and universe-altering action. Imagine the courtroom of heaven. For years, the accuser has been presenting his case against you, listing every failure, every weakness, every doubt, replaying your worst moments. He has had witnesses, the voices of your past, the mockers, the doubters, the betrayers. He has presented evidence, the barrenness, the lack, the closed doors, and you stood there, with nothing to offer in your defense, but a faith that refused to die. But then, something shifted. The eternal sovereign judge, the one who sits on the throne, who has been watching, listening, and allowing the process for your ultimate purification and his ultimate glory, leaned forward. And then he stood up. The moment he rose from his seat, the entire cosmos fell silent. Every demonic accusation was choked in the throat of the accuser. Every principality and power was frozen in place. The angelic hosts held their breath in awe. When God stands, it is the final word. It is the end of the argument. It is the execution of a sentence of favor and vindication. His rising signifies that the time for testing is over, and the time for testimony has begun. His standing up is a declaration to all of heaven and hell, to every force seen and unseen, that you are his. You belong to him, and anyone who comes against you is coming against him. The slander has been silenced. The accusations have been annulled. The cosmic gavel has fallen not with a sentence of condemnation, but with a decree of coronation. And the world will feel it. This is not a private victory to be quietly celebrated. This is a public spectacle of divine power. The reverberations of God standing up for you will now begin to manifest in the physical realm in ways that will be undeniable, unavoidable, and utterly baffling to those who wrote you off. The world will feel it in the sudden collapse of structures that were built to oppose you. The systems, the organizations, the very relationships that were weaponized against you will begin to crumble from the inside out. They will be plagued by infighting, by sudden exposure, by a strange series of events they cannot explain. The foundation of their power, which was built on lies, will be revealed as sand, and the tide of God's justice is now coming in. They will feel the very fire they tried to throw you into licking at their own heels. This is not your vengeance. This is divine justice. You will not have to lift a finger. You are simply called to watch. The world will feel it in the sudden and inexplicable opening of doors that were sealed shut with every lock man could devise. Opportunities you never pursued will come chasing you down. Platforms that rejected you will now be begging for your voice. Resources that were withheld will be released in an avalanche of provision. People who held the keys to your next level will be woken up in the middle of the night with your name on their minds. Compelled by a divine urgency to connect with you, to bless you, to partner with you. These will not be small things. These will be monumental breakthroughs that leave no room for doubt about their origin. It will be so obviously the hand of God that no man can take the credit. Your life will become a living testament to the phrase, "but God." The world will feel it in the shift in the spiritual atmosphere around you. Where there was once heaviness and oppression, there will now be a lightness, a tangible presence of peace and authority. When you walk into a room, demons will tremble. The very air will change. People will be inexplicably drawn to the light and the anointing that radiates from you. They won't know why, but they will feel hope and peace in your presence. The cloud of glory that surrounds you will be a sanctuary for the broken and a terror to the wicked. The world will feel it in the exposure of truth. The lies that were told about you, the narrative spun to discredit you, will be unraveled. Truth, like a mighty river, will burst forth and wash away the filth. Hidden things will be brought into the light. Secret conversations will be made public. The masks people have worn will fall off. There will be a great clarifying, a divine sorting, where those who are for you and for God will be drawn closer, and those who are against you will be pushed away by the very glory you carry. The world will feel it through the power that now flows through you. The season of preparation was not for nothing. Every tear you cried watered the seeds of your destiny. Every trial you endured forged a strength in you that cannot be broken. And now, those storehouses are being thrown open. Wisdom, strategies, creative ideas, and solutions will flow from you with supernatural ease. The words you speak will carry an unprecedented weight and authority. The anointing on your life has matured, concentrated by the pressure, and now it is being poured out without measure. The crown destined for you is now being lowered onto your head. It is a crown of royalty, authority, and sonship. The fire that was meant to consume you has instead become your throne. The passion within you is now becoming a blazing inferno that will ignite a revival. This is not a time to shrink back. It is time to stand tall and agree with heaven's verdict. Receive this vindication. Walk in this new authority. The shift has already happened in the spirit. Now watch as the world around you begins to conform to this new reality. The world has felt the tremor of God standing up. Now, they are about to witness the earthquake of you stepping out. Your reign begins now. Therefore, understand the purpose of this vindication. This newfound authority, this public endorsement from heaven, is not merely for your comfort or for the silencing of your enemies. It is a sacred trust, a mantle of responsibility. The crown is not just an ornament, it is a commission. The throne is not just a place of rest, it is a seat of governance. You have been brought through the fire so that you can now walk into the fires of others and not be burned, pulling them from the flames. You endured the wilderness so that you can become a guide for those who are still lost in their own. The comfort you are now receiving is the very same comfort you will be sent to administer to a broken and weeping world. Your testimony is not your own. It is a key forged in your pain that will unlock the prison doors for countless others who are bound by the same lies and trapped in the same circumstances you just overcame. Do not waste this anointing by looking backward. Do not squander this momentum by rehearsing old wounds or gloating over the downfall of your opposition. Their fate is in the hands of the judge who stood for you. Your focus must now be on the harvest before you. You are now an ambassador of the kingdom, a living, breathing embassy of heaven on earth. When you speak with the authority of the one who sent you. When you act, you demonstrate his power. You are a city on a hill, and the time for hiding is over. Let your light shine so brightly that it exposes the works of darkness and provides a beacon for all who are searching for a way home. This is your great commission. Steward this moment. Steward this power. Steward this incredible story of redemption. Your life is now a testament, and the world will not only feel the power of your God, they will be transformed by the love you now have the authority to release.